Friday, December 15th. Kids watching at home. This will be a short video, just for those of you who may not know the end of Annabel Lee. We're going to have to touch on that. I'm not really going to record the discussion things, I don't think, but we'll see how things go. Let's see, I will explain shirt in a moment. Semester exam on Tuesday. I will talk about it a little bit on Monday just to give you an idea. Like on Monday, I will let you know what topics are on there, like no irony, foreshadowing. So I will tell you what to know, and as long as you can look up there and go, oh, I know irony, or I know stuff like that, then you should be good to go. And then I already have next week's schedule over here, so it tells you what's coming up, so it gives you some idea. Tie game was that Santa dude. Over there. We had a bunch of kids in this class get it, so if you put Santa or Santa hat, I took either one of those two things. If you don't remember, I can tell you at the end of class, and I can look it up, because I went through and gave people points. Yeah, ornaments was not it.
I put Santa ornament, right?
Nope, you just put ornaments. Yeah, no.
I got 7 points this week.
So this is what my shirt is a reference to. It's from a band. The band is
Queen.
So they have a song called Bohemian Rhapsody, and in that one, this is the cover for that particular song when they used to do it. And so this, because there is a line in that song where he sings, I'm just a po' boy, nobody loves me. I'm just a po' boy from a poor family. And so because it sounds like he says po' boy as opposed to poor boy, that's why it says I'm just a po' boy, and then Edgar Allan Poe. And then his most famous poem has ravens in it, so it's supposed to look like that, but with ravens. So anyway, it makes me giggle giggly when I get to
I didn't
it.
even notice that.
So that's the little mashup that I was going for
Is
there.
it Edgar Allan Poe?
Wait,
Is he
have
unknown?
Is he what?
Isn't his death like unknown?
Correct. He was an alcoholic, went to a bar one night, disappeared, showed up on the side of a road 3 days later, dead. And they have no idea what happened during those 3 days. So, yeah. Mate!
So, did you make this shirt?
I did not. I just got it from online. I just go to a lot of like dorky online shirt shops.
Do you have your Facebook community and have your...
No. I just know there's certain shirts I wear during certain poems and certain ties during certain stories and stuff like that. But beyond that, they get mixed up a little bit. I'm going to come around and pick up your idiom sheet. One is your first and last name on it, so I don't have to be mean to you. So make sure you have first and last namey thing from there. You're going to have to email that to me because I don't think you want me to take your iPad. It makes it real hard for the rest of the day. But I can take your digital version if you send it to me. That's fine with me. I will be coming around. Again, if you don't have it today, it does cost you the 3 B points, so then you turn it in Monday. I don't know if I'm going to make you stand next week because it's the last week of school. We'll see what happens when we get there. I'm hoping to get these graded and up over the weekend, but we'll see how things do. When I come around to you, if you are turning it to me, hold it up, I will grab it from you, and then we'll be good. Home children will pause for a second so it's not quite so boring. Good job. Mate! Good conversation. So I need to finish out the rest of Annabel Lee. It'll take us like 5 minutes because we went through all the boring beginning stuff. I don't want to rob you of the fun ending stuff, and then we'll get to our discussion again here in a moment. So let's do Speedy version, just to make sure it's in your brain because this is on test next week and stuff like that. Not a whole lot, but let's see. Blah blah. Where is it taking place?
Kingdom by the sea.
Who are the two characters?
Judy and
Emily.
How do they feel about each other?
Love each other.
The first line is a reference to
Fairy tale.
how do fairy tales end?
Happy ever
Keep that in mind in about 3.5 minutes when we get to the end. I was a child and she was a child.
Teenagers.
There you go. We loved the love that was more than love.
Ladder.
Seraphs are.
Angel.
Your evidence that angels are.
Wings in heaven.
Coveted means.
Jealous.
Alright, so we're going to go there. And our angel faces, there we go. And a sepulcher is.
Like a dead... Oh,
like
mausoleum.
Kinsmen are.
Family.
Family.
Highborn means.
High nobility.
Royal, rich of some kind. If her family is putting her into a sepulcher, that means.
She's dead.
She dead. What kills her?
The wind.
Cold
What
wind.
season was it?
Winter.
There you go. Wind. Rarg. 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 There we go. Who does he blame?
Angels. And the devils.
And not yet. And what weapon did they use?
The wind.
They used the wind. And what's happening to his brain?
Going
Go
crazy.
Go cuckoo crazy.
For Cocoa Puffs. And then we got to this one with you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're on the last stanza.
That's what I thought. So in here, who else is he blaming along with the
Demons.
angels?
Demons.
The demons down under the sea. And then dissever.
Not separate.
So this is where he realizes that the angels and demons did a conspiracy, high-five each other to kill his woman, but because, remember, your love, super love, his love, because his love is so strong, he states that that is not enough to separate him and the woman that he loves, so he decides to come up with a plan to prove to the angels, just because you killed her, it is not enough to separate them. That brings us to stanza 6. Who is my stanza 6 person? All right, stanza 6 person.
Wait, oh no, I was stanza 3.
I thought so too, but I was like, all right.
I think it was like.
Apparently it's the confused kid. Who was supposed to write her initials next to the stanza so that you would know it was you? You look scared. I'm
I'll
not
read it. No,
arresting
I
you.
knew it was me the whole time.
Reese, I'll read it.
Totally, yeah.
I know, I really did. I was just like,
I'll read,
I see
it.
it.
Oh, okay.
It's me.
I'll read it.
You ready, Reese?
I've been practicing so I don't stutter. Wait, 1 second. Okay. Can I start?
Yes.
Okay. For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And the stars never rise, but I feel the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And so all the night tide I lie down by the side of my darling, my life and my bride. In her sepulchre by the sea, in her tomb by the sounding sea. I did it good.
I'm going to read it again, just that little emotion things we know is happening with his brain. Ooh. Do you have a sense of what you think?
Yes.
Let's find out in a moment, see how close you get. For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And the stars never rise, but I feel the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabel Lee. So all the night tide I lie down by the side of my darling, my life and my bride, in her sepulchre there by the sea, in her tomb by the sounding sea.
Oh, I get it.
So starts off, he tries to be good. People tell him, hey, you have to move on. He tries to move on as best he can, but every night he goes outside, he looks up at the moon, and what happens when he looks at the moon?
Dreams.
He dreams of?
Annabel Lee.
He can't stop thinking about her. He dreams of Annabel Lee. He's like, all right. So he shakes his head, tries to get rid of it from there, and he's like, all right. And he looks around and he sees all the stars. And when he sees all the stars, what makes him think, what does he think of?
Annabel Lee.
So no matter what he keeps doing, he can't stop thinking about her, which is his way of realizing the two of them are supposed to be together. Even though the angels have killed her off. Remember, this is a love poem. Love, love, their love. And the first line of the poem makes us think of, how do fairy tales end?
Happily ever after.
Let's get to our happily ever after in this poem. How does he teach those angels a lesson? By showing them that they can't win. What does he do at the end of the poem?
He marries.
He's already, in his mind, he's already married to her. So you're safe there. That's why he says, my bride is his way of thinking the fact that they're supposed to be together forever and ever. So you see, not that bad. Matei?
He joins her in the sepulchre.
So what do you mean by joins her?
Kills himself.
Ah, so here's the issue with killing himself. That's considered murder, and you go the other direction. So he can't kill himself. That
He
won't
lies
teach the
there.
angels a
So
lesson.
he just lays there.
He goes in every night
Sleeps with a dead body.
and opens up the crypt, crawls inside, and lays down next to her so he can cuddle next to the person that he loves forever and ever and ever. And he sleeps next to her every night.
Dead.
Kind of weird.
Now, for some of you, this may give you a certain sensation that you're going to have, but that's because what you're failing to understand is your love, his love. So now, anytime you're dating somebody, you should ask them, do you love me? They go, yes. You go, sleep next to a dead body, love? And if they go, no, you take your hand, you go, get to stepping. Because apparently their love is not a strong enough love. Now, there is another way to read the end of this poem. And the other way to read it is that he is not going into a crypt and sleeping next to a dead body, because that's just crazy and no one would do that. Instead, every night he dreams that he is dead and lays down next to her and then wakes up and goes through his day. Poe never tells us which one it is, whether he's crazy enough to go into the tomb or whether he just dreams he's dead and in there. He leaves it up to you to decide, does this guy go fully crazy or just a little bit crazy?
Why do we have to?
Whichever one helps you sleep at night, that is the one you get to go with.
Why do we have to? Why do we have to write the end of his poem?
You don't
Just
have
write
to.
the end of.
I mean, that's the one. The one I know is the fact that he goes in there every night, but I've heard the other interpretation. I just don't. I know some people might need that to help them sleep at night and go,
I mean, what about Bo?
it's so icky.
All I need is a heating blanket.
Here is my last word for us to define. On the front side of your yellow sheet, it should have one last spot to define a word,
Yep.
which is refrain. Not like you should refrain from talking in class. That would be bad. This is a refrain. I just went to the choir, orchestra, band concerts this week. If you are in music, in theory, you know what a refrain is because music has refrains in it. Do you know what a refrain in music is?
Not really yet.
Matei?
Is it like the repeating part, like the?
It is. The refrain is the part of music where you play it, and then there's like a break, and you play that part again, and then later on you play that same chunk again.
Repeating
We do
things
that
in
a lot.
Yeah, so what's a refrain in a poem?
Repeating sentences.
Lines that get repeated throughout a poem. If only we had just read a poem that had a big, obvious refrain that got repeated a whole bunch.
Of the animal.
Of the beautiful animal.
Of the beautiful animal.
That's one of the two.
And my.
There you go. So Annabel Lee has two refrains in it that get repeated back and forth. Of the beautiful Annabel Lee, and then In a Kingdom by the Sea.
That rhymes.
And that was the last word I have for you to try and do. Because I'm going to have you guys try to find a refrain in a poem next week, which should not be hard as long as you know what a refrain is. You just look for the line that gets repeated and you should be good to go.
Richard Cole.
Yes, sir?
I'm sorry.
Hold on.
I'm sorry to stop.
Getting ready to.
Waiting all week.
I know. Oh, you guys found the two refrains? Refrain, refrain. Now, you don't need anything else at all. I mean, you can put iPad off to the side for the very end of it. So, here's the new idea I had. Being an old person, I sometimes read newspaper articles, and I stumbled upon one that I think will connect to your guys' life. And so I'm curious to see what your thoughts are on what this article is about. But,
Is it like the thing that Islam's doing with their face?
no, good guess. No. So, here's what I'm going to do. Do you guys know? No, I don't want to do it yet. It's going to give things away. All right. Step one. There is a picture that went along with the article. I'm going to give you the picture first and see if you guys have an idea of where this might be going. I will tell you again, this article very much connects to your life. Here's the picture that I saw when I was getting into it.
Looks like a serial killer.
So that was my question. As we get into it, what are your thoughts? Now remember, it's going to connect to you in some way. What is it your first thought if I just show you picture? And then I'm going to show you the topic. Then I'm going to show you the article. And then we get to talk. Jojo?
It looks like someone who likes to go to parks and find victims, follow them to move, and then murder them.
Wow. He seems pretty strong on that one. Aiden?
I think he's a hacker.
A hacker? I could see that. How would that connect to you guys?
Because we are really good at technology.
Ooh, I like your connection on that one. Alex?
He looks like he eats cereal without the milk.
And how would that connect to you guys?
You eat cereal.
He probably doesn't eat cereal without. He probably eats cereal without.
He's a
milk.
psycho!
Did
I
you
know,
bring a
right?
whole bunch
Lock
of
him up.
cereal and we're just snacking on it?
Monosby?
He looks like a young Zayda.
Interesting. So how's that going to connect to you guys?
I'm in love with him.
Because everything's one direction? Alright, I can roll with that. Yeah?
He looks like he's one of those weird people in high school who start like this whole bully gang of jocks.
He does, kind of.
He really does.
So is that how it connects to you guys?
And then he turns into everything.
Alright, I'm rolling with that.
Living back
Alright.
when you were a kid.
Piggy?
I swear.
It looks like he would either do some very bad things or a
What do you mean by very
school
bad
shooting.
things?
Very bad things.
Hang on. We're going to come to the next ones. Let me show you the topic that connects to it. Here was the topic I found. Brooklyn, New York PE teacher fired for inappropriate internet conduct with students outside of school.
I said something very inappropriate.
I said Pepper.
I said something very inappropriate.
Never mind.
Mr. Ham. I said something
Wow.
very inappropriate. I said he was doing something very
creepy.
So, well, let's back up. Do we know what the word inappropriate means?
Yes.
And what, you know what that means? Conduct?
Yeah.
All right. So now I'm not telling you what it is he did yet, but I will tell you again. It's going.
You sure about that one?
Wow. So now I'm going to see how it connects to you guys. Do you have a guess as to how I'm going to connect this to you guys here in a moment?
Yeah.
Crawford?
I had a teacher like that.
How
What
so?
do you mean last year? And last year.
All right. Interesting.
I know who it is.
I do too.
Yeah,
We
that
all
is-
in class last year.
Yeah, it's a
Creepy.
I was in the class too.
Wait, what are you talking about? That's an actor in the Outside movie.
Wow.
I said he was good. I said he may have done some very inappropriate stuff.
All right. All right. So
Yes, Alex, yes.
I'm going to.
I really want to know how this goes to us.
Aren't you ready? So I'm going to show you the article, and I'm going to read it. It's in 3 little parts. And we're going to stop after each one to sort of see your thoughts. So here is what I found that brought my attention to it. Gym teacher fired for playing Fortnite with his students.
Oh. Wait, how do you get fired for that?
It's not Mr. Ham.
So
You do that.
let's go through. I'm going to read article, then I'm going to sort of see your thoughts as we get into it. That's why I was interested.
I really thought.
It's like teachers, they can't like give out their numbers or anything either in our school district.
And actually, I had a conversation with Mr. Butts about this just last class period.
It's like hard.
Because-
Like, you also have follow backs from the students. Like,
You really had me
if they
going
follow
there.
on anything, you are not allowed to follow them.
I was thinking
like
like
after
after
the year.
I want to.
So here's the first chunk, and then I'm going to sort of see what your guys' thoughts are going into this. So it says, gym teacher fired for playing Fortnite with his students. A Brooklyn gym teacher with a case of Fortnite fever recruited teammates for the wildly popular video game in his own classroom until the Department of Education found out and fired him, the Post, meaning the newspaper, has learned. When Brett Belsky, who was only 29, overheard some of his middle school 890 students chatting about Xbox games way back in January 2018, he scrawled his online handle, The Belsky, on the board and offered to play a few matches of the trendy third-person shooting game Fortnite with them if they did well in class. As a teacher, you reach out the best you can. These kids talk about video games, Belsky said. I said, all right, if you get your work done, maybe I'll play against you. I saw their eyebrows go up. He said, adding that he told the kids to get parental consent before playing against him. Belsky held up his end of the deal in March, playing the game online for about 20 minutes with 2 pint-sized players, ages 11 and 12, according to a city report on the incident. Before I go on, thoughts so far on this information? Jojo?
Kind of like you.
How so?
Cause like, I'm pretty sure you did say like if we did good in school that like you would possibly friend us on Fortnite.
Possibly. Interesting. Callie?
It's stupid that they fired him for this, because even that had to get parental consent first.
Well,
Did he
But it
make
says
sure it happened?
and
But
they-
it's not.
he told them to get parental consent first. So that might be a slight difference.
That's happened before.
And the
Storks?
incident.
It seems like innocent. Like right now, it doesn't seem that.
So far into the article, he seems innocent.
You're gonna show another article
So
that
it's-
has like another point. of
So at this point, which way should Minoski be going? Is he hot or not?
What? He's hot.
Because she keeps going back and forth between, and
Okay,
she's
well,
like,
now he looks like an offender. But then, when you were describing him, I was like, okay, let me give him a chance.
So which way are you leaning now?
Well, I think you're gonna read us this, so now it like looks like, okay, like he's a teacher, he's doing stuff, but he's not like actually verifying it. So then you're gonna show us another thing, and it's gonna be like another point of view, and then I'm gonna think he's
It's gonna
innocent
keep
again.
contradicting itself.
Alright, let's go a little bit farther. Let's see now. The 11-year-old player mentioned the unusual pairing to his dad, who reported the gaming session to the Kensington school's principal the next day. Apparently, the kid did not get parental permission. I never had a write-up, meaning he never got teacher detention, In my 8 years of teaching, said Belsky, who was reassigned to a DOE rubber room, which is like a teacher detention room where you can't be in the classroom until they figure out if you're innocent or guilty, until April pending the probe, and ultimately canned in the fall. Do you guys know what canned means?
No.
Yeah, like you get. Like you
So
get fired.
that is an idiom meaning fired from your job. So that's what can means. I figure since we're working on idioms. Canned in the fall with a recommendation finding that he engaged in inappropriate internet conduct with the
That
students.
sounds so bad.
Right? The Special Commissioner of Investigation for the New York City School District, which oversaw the probe, also suggested that the DOE clarify its employee social media guidelines to make clear that teacher-student gaming is out of bounds. School employees should not interact with students online except for school-related reasons, a DOE spokesman told the Post. Mr. Belsky was terminated based on his overall performance, including a review of this case. So, a question that came up in my first period about this. Does it make a difference if he did this with the kids in class or waited till he had to get home that night to play on his Xbox?
I think it would have made a difference if he did it
Because
in
this was
class.
back when they had mobile Fortnite was very popular, so he could have played mobile Fortnite in the classroom with them. Or does it make a difference if he waited till he got home? Does the two of that make a difference before we go further into
Yeah,
it?
I think it does.
Yeah?
So I think there's two sides for each of them. So
Okay.
First, if you're at school, it's taking away time from learning, but at the same time, teachers do things like to reward kids for like doing good things.
Mhm.
So that could also be like how you saying it as a reward.
What if it was during best?
Yes.
Well, it depends on if they have homework.
Well, still, like Miss Zeller lets us go and like shoot baskets if we're doing good in class and
Mhm.
stuff. So
Lucky.
if
Only
we're
on Thursdays.
if
Every
we're
other
good,
Thursday.
then
Yeah, every
we
other
get to do that. So it's still like if you're good, then you can do
Alright.
Fortnite. But if like you're at home and stuff,
It could be
It's
accidental.
different
It
because
could be
like it's like
accidental.
there's boundaries in school within like other students being in the classroom
And
and,
it's like-
other teachers observing.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then there's a difference being at home. And
Okay.
it's like there should be a boundary, but like I don't think.
What
That's why I wanted the conversation.
What if you and your teacher
Hang on.
invested?
Picky.
Like he said, if they worked well in like his class,
Mhm.
so like if they like do well in class, like I feel like they should have that ability to like to play games.
Alright. Matthew?
I feel like, I don't remember if I saw this online or something like that, but I feel like this one teacher, this one teacher said that if the students would did good, like he would play with them, but it was like they went to like a computer lab in the school, so I think that's what he should have done or something like that.
Alright, I can dig that. Kyle?
In 5th grade, my teacher, like, there was this time at the end of the day, it was like Shark Time or whatever, and they would like, he'd always say, like, work on BMath or whatever, but if we had,
I hated
math.
like, if you had all your BMath done, and like, you had nothing, he would let us play, like, whatever games we wanted on our iPads or whatever, so I feel like it doesn't really matter, like, if you have everything done, but if, like,
There's a difference in doing it with students
I
in the
know, but
reward
if the
system and
teacher
doing it when you're
is like
done.
playing it with the students, then there's like.
Wait, what teacher
kind
did you
of
have?
Okay, so
Oh,
that goes
yeah,
with
but
strength.
it's also a
Okay.
teacher offered thing. I feel like for a teacher to say, yeah, I will play a game with you guys if you're done, then a student recommending it's different. Because if it was a
Yeah.
student's like thought process to get to that, then they would have actually been responsible and asked their parents. But it's like a teacher thing. It's different.
And here's the last bit. Belsky conceded that he should have spoken with higher-ups, like the principal, before enacting the Games for Grades program, but said he was puzzled by the sacking. Sacking is another idiom. It means getting fired. Belsky's lawyer said, it's perception. It's the impression. Without details or context, people can get the wrong impression. He said he's going to appeal the firing in a hearing later this month and maintains that he was just trying to connect with the younger generation. The game's insanely popular. I have to figure out a way to reach these kids, to get them to do their work. I love what I do. I am a good teacher. That's the end of the article. Summer?
I think what makes like a lot of the difference too is that it's Fortnite, like you're playing a shooting game in school. That's not.
So what if it was, say, a game that was popular a couple years ago called Among Us? Among Us.
It's the same.
Because I had kids wanting me to play Among Us during Best. Should I be able to play Among Us with kids
Yes.
during Best?
Yes.
Everyone should be able
Among
to
Us
play
actually
Among
has
Us.
blood. Like,
So
like,
that's-
Fortnite is
Have
just
Among Us.
numbers.
Matei?
So, in Canada, I went to school, and then for like in 2019, like right before COVID hit, they didn't allow you to wear clothes with Fortnite. They didn't allow
Wait,
you
what?
to do anything like that because of like the bad influence.
Interesting.
So, and they didn't
So they
allow-
classify that like how we do
I thought-
drugs, alcohol, stuff like that. They
Exactly.
put Fortnite gaming into
They put
that.
it. You're not allowed to wear like clothes about it. So
Interesting.
Wait, what's about what one?
Yes.
So you could not. So then, do you think a teacher should be fired or in trouble for interacting with students online outside the school setting?
I mean,
I
Minosky?
think there's like certain boundaries to it, and I think it depends on like the school system. But like you have 7 hours in a day to interact with students as well as like a best period, just like in our building.
Mhm.
So it's like why like there's so many assumptions that can be made and interpretations of the wrong things happening when you're online with a student, and like especially when the year's not ended, so you still have to see them every day, and like it's just like why like take the risk of getting fired and everything when you can just like find a time and or email them. Like I don't like my fourth grade teacher still emails me about stuff that she reminds me of.
And that was the thing we're going to get to in a moment too. So, because like I have a number of kids who ask me, because they know I play Fortnite with my daughters, and they've asked me to play Fortnite with them. And I have kids who are 8th grade this year that I had, should it make a difference if the kid is current right now or an 8th grader?
Yeah, I mean, like,
No.
you follow that,
You
like,
interact
really
with
and
them
people
more.
like that, but this year you can't, and it's like, there should be boundaries because, like, there's a difference between spending every day with one kid
Mhm.
and then seeing them, like, a couple times in the hallway.
Alright, yeah,
That's what I was gonna say.
it happens. Alright, so then, because this also came up in an earlier conversation with it, what about something like Remind? I have kids who sent messages last night as far as Remind goes with the trying to get help on the assignment. But I had one kid who sent me a message who was having a meltdown because the bad home life issues. Parents were yelling at each other. She was not going to be able to get it done, and she sort of trauma dumped on me with all of these issues going on. Should I be able to respond to something like that, even though it's through a Remind message? Would that be inappropriate, or should I ignore a message, or should I reach out and try to help a kid who's suffering? And at what point does that get iffy if it goes through Remind messaging? Felipe?
I would say like let's talk about it in class.
But when do I have time in class to talk about it?
Like best.
I don't have the kid for Best.
Passing period.
Passing.
And if I bring the kid in for Best, I've got 25 other kids. And you think a kid's going to want to open up and talk about these issues. Plus, it's a kid that never talks to me in class. It's a kid that only feels comfortable when they don't have to. Because there's kids who, unlike some of you guys, don't want to talk out loud and just feel comfortable through typing. So then what do I do in that case?
Lunch. Give them lunch, then just like
You think a kid wants to be pulled aside in front of everyone?
no after school.
Yeah.
You think a
That's
kid,
worse.
you think their parents who have a
Hang
horrible
on.
home life would let them stay after school?
Now you start seeing where we start getting into issues. Yeah.
Because like, I feel like it's rude to like. I feel like the kid would be like sad if you didn't reply to them, but like also it's like it's kind of off to like
And that's where we get into the issue where a lot of kids see me as mentor or someone who can help them in some way. And so what do you do? Because I have a lot of kids with bad home lives who don't have a positive adult role model. And they see me as that one positive adult role model. So when they reach out to me, and a lot of kids, their only way of reaching out is through something like Remind. And then it becomes that, how are you supposed to interact with them? Rager?
maybe just like responding back but not in great detail, or maybe referring them to like Mr. Murray or something.
All right. So, what is the worry if I respond in great detail? Because you say don't respond in great detail.
Like, don't go super deep into like what they're talking about. Just say, like, I understand.
Mhm.
Like, I'll give you more time to do it, whatever.
And then if they respond and give me more information, I know. That's where it starts. That's the stuff that it starts getting tougher and tougher with. Reese?
You can like, in that first message before they add more or whatever, if that even happens, you could say more like, well, really depending on what that message is, but if it's like explaining what is like his situation, he or she's situation is, and how you could help, you could just say like we could talk later or talk like in some other time, because like if online or whatever is not the best situation for them. So then maybe they know not to send more info.
So why should they not send more? If this is their way of reaching out and this kid
Really
is struggling.
I mean, I don't know what the situation is. I mean, besides like what you already told us, I don't know how deep it would be. But like,
The level of stuff that kids reveal to me in Remind is eye-opening. That kids send me messages about what happens in their households. That I find out a lot about kids through that. And it's an ongoing issue of how to balance that when you see, and I've told you before, my issue as a teacher is I care about you. What do you do when you care about a kid who is struggling and saying, my life is falling apart? I don't know how to handle these things. Do I just go, yeah, that sucks, man, good luck? Or do you reach out and help, but then how about this to make it even tougher for you? Kid ends 7th grade, goes to 8th grade, now is no longer on her mind, so now sends me a message through Instagram. Now, I've been responding to this kid, say, throughout 7th grade, trying to help them find sanity, but now they're no longer in my class. How does that change things? Picky.
Well, off topic from that, like, if like a kid comes to like someone, like I feel like they need, because like they need help. But if like a teacher asks like, are you okay, and like they say like no, like I feel like like that kid then needs like the respect that the teacher won't get involved. And I feel like, because then like if that kid then has like a bad home life, then it's just gonna be bad for them later on.
And that's going back to what Manasseh brought up the other day with our conversation, the fact that you said, I treat kids like they're big people. And so that becomes the fact where kids start to then respond to me along those lines, and it's hard to then cut that off in some way. Reed?
I feel like it's like a lot of pressure because if someone like texts you, like messages you online with like problems at home, and like if say like something is like physical, she says something that's physical, like some of that responsibility falls into like you because you know about it. And if you don't say anything and something like really bad happens.
I've had to report through DCS a number of times because of information kids have given me. And that is a very awkward thing to have to go through when kids report stuff. DCS, CPS, the child services and stuff like that. So I've heard both Child Protective Services and the Department of Child Services, the same idea. We have to report the big things. Matei?
So I think you should probably reach out to them at lunch, even if that might consider like lunch silence period.
And that only works if they have B lunch though. Because if they have A or C, we have different lunchmen. I can't talk to them
So
then.
figure out what they have in 2nd period, because that's when you have like figure out when.
I have done that before. But then it becomes that, how often do you have to give up time to talk to them? I agree. I've tried these methods before. Manasseh?
I think it's like, if your responsibility is not just to teach students, it's also like care for them for the years they're in your class. And like, I've seen like how you treat other students after, and it's like you still care about them. So you should be able to respond, but also it's like if it gets to a point, like you're not supposed to be like a school therapist, and it's like you should have like a boundary at some point where you say like, oh, it's gotten to the point where you need to talk to like someone else.
Had that. And the kid says, I've talked to my parents, but they refuse, they don't believe in therapy, and they won't send me to therapy. I don't know what I'm supposed to do here.
But in that case, there's like school services, but it's just like, people suck. Like I've never met someone who actually is like a good parent. It's like, that's just how it works.
Wow. But not disagreeing with you, there's a lot of rough ones out there. Hang on, I'm going to keep going, but for those of you who want, I had kids complain that I was making it due too soon, the response thing at the end. So I'm not making it due till Monday night, because I had kids who wanted more time. So same thing, I'll remind you again on Monday. I'll leave it open. It's the thing that says the survey response. But if you want to do it now, you can. If you want to wait till later, that's fine also. But I figured those of you who want to do it this way, I'm happy to help. Reese.
So I have like lots of people. My parents are divorced, so I've been through a lot and like need somebody to talk to sometimes. But like I have a lot of other family